Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. I am reporting in from Guangzhou. My first time here, and I was actually invited here for an event, but the event is over and I'm at the dining table, or I should say like a little old style coffee shop with some good friends of mine. Tutu from Macau. Then I got YY. You guys saw YY before in the previous video in Shenyang. And then we have Amin, who's a local Singaporean. This is like I don't know if you call this a breakfast food, but it's like a snack. And in Singapore we have it, it's called Chi Jiong Fan, but this is the first time I'm seeing Chi Jiong Fan with beef, because generally it's shrimp. Then this is something that Amin told me I have to try, and YY brought us here.
But it's different. This is 腸粉. It's different from 豬腸粉. 豬腸粉is a roll, but this one is like very flat.
So this is 全粉. 全粉. Yeah, so they speak a lot of Cantonese here in Guangzhou. I don't understand Cantonese, but it's something interesting, so I'm going to try it. And I thought I would show it to you guys, so this is what it looks like.
人拉走咗佢。你唔見你一上嚟有啊？跟住我諗住揾佢做我 partner 啦。我記得佢企喺度，我記得。Very good.
Wow, they're done.
哇，真啊！
So nice.
Oh, really good. Really good. I didn't expect it to be so savory.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Some good stuff. I didn't even expect that there was going to be vegetables in this, so it's pretty good. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yes, my favorite food in Guangzhou.
Very good.
Oh, by the way, that's Amin's coffee. He got that, the entire thing with the bottle from a cafe, and it looked like condiments for the table. Like it looked like vinegar.
Yeah.
So
Soy sauce.
I'm gonna finish up because clearly I'm the slowest now. So we now find ourselves at this wonton place. Wonton? How do you guys say it? Wonton?
Wonton.
Well, because I want to know what the Americans, like how the Americans say it, because most of my viewers are American. So they said wonton. We just say wonton. Let's go eat wonton. So this is wonton. There's a shrimp wonton and a pork wonton, and apparently it's really famous. So.
Seafood.
Okay, my turn to try. You're supposed to add some vinegar to it, and YY's done that for me. I'm gonna try it. This is the pork one. So it goes. Good. It's really chewy, got a nice texture, and it's delicious. Thank you, YY. Maybe this footage doesn't really make sense to you guys because I really didn't get a chance to film myself a lot, record myself a lot, because literally I touched down on like Saturday night. The event was Sunday, the whole day, and then today's Monday right now. I only spent the first half of the day just out walking around the area near the hotel, and then now I'm at the airport, so going back home. My first time in Guangzhou, I didn't really get to see much, but yeah, I mean, got good company. Met Wizard again. I know I didn't share that part of this trip with you guys, but Wizard, because you know he won the Queen of Disco leg in Shenyang when we were there just about a month ago. Because he was a champion, he was seeded into the grand finals, and he won again. Like that's how strong of a dancer he is. Oh, I actually have the Sonder with me, but it's in my bag. It's not in my pocket right now because you know, passing through the metal scanners, so that's the reason why. But I have the Sonder with me. I think it might be time for me to go. So I know this is strange. I just thought I'd check in and share with you guys a little bit about the food that I ate. Just some extra content, I suppose. We're waiting for, the time to board the plane. We're chilling at a cafe, but there's this old man sleeping in the corner. He looks so comfortable though. Check it out. That's dope. Amin bought me a drink with WeChat Pay.
WeChat wallet. WeChat wallet.
Because he wants to be a local Chinese. It's a yuzu matcha tea. And I like yuzu. I like matcha. I've never tried yuzu matcha in one. So let's try it first before I end this video.
Maybe it's the course.
Yeah, I'm thinking, right? Yeah. Time to try. It's weird. It's weird. Shit. You should try. It's weird. No. It's interesting. I mean, you can clearly taste yuzu and matcha. Clearly, but it's weird. Just one sip.
I know what you mean.
It's yuzu and matcha. It just doesn't blend.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't blend. It's yuzu and matcha.
Sorry, you have to experience.
It's okay. I mean, I'm the one that saw it on the board. I was like, yuzu and matcha, let's try it. So, sometimes it just doesn't pay to be adventurous. I don't know. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. In this video, we will be talking about this over here, which is the Slim Sonder Tri by Vinon Labs, or maybe it's the Sonder Slim by Vinon Labs, but yeah, it's a tri version, and I don't know why they're calling it tri because I've not yet seen a bar version, but here it is. This is the Slim Sonder Tri. If you guys watched my previous video about the Hyperglow Sonder, then you will know that this is a prototype that was sent to me by Jason, so Jason, thank you for that. I have kept this guy on my EDC for the past, I would say close to a month, like at least 3 weeks, because it took time for me to record that video and then edit that, but then I put this on my EDC since then, and I even brought this guy to Guangzhou, China with me. So yes, I spent quite some quality time with this little baby over here, and my impressions of this is good. Actually, my final verdict is rather positive, so I'm just gonna put that out there first of all, but I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about the difference between this and the original Sonder Tri. This one is in stainless steel right here, and the Sonder Tri Titanium, which I have anodized, but there's a little scratch here because, well, I use it, so yep. And last but not least, something that is very close to the Sonder design, I would say, is the atrium. And this one here is a full-size atrium in stainless steel with some brass inserts. But I brought this in because I thought that, it being a triangular shaped spinner would be a, I guess, similar design to this, and this is kind of like a benchmark nowadays. A lot of you already own an atrium, whether it's in different materials or if it's the mini version, but this one is the full-size version, so I'll get to that in a short while. Very quickly, I'm going to give you guys a size comparison to kick things off. So this is the Sonder Tri Slim next to a stubby, and yes, it is bigger than a stubby in almost every dimension. You guys can see the stubby is just being shadowed by the Sonder Tri Slim, and the Sonder Slim versus the original Sonder or the Sonder full size, you could see that the difference is actually just in how thick it is, and it is just a little bit thinner, I would say, or flatter if you want to use that term, as compared to the original Sonder. And then we have the titanium Sonder, and we're going to be talking about that because the titanium Sonder actually weighs in at about 65 grams. And in comparison to that, the full-sized stainless steel Sonder is weighing in at about 113 grams, so that's almost double of this. And just for reference, the atrium is weighing in at about 89 grams, so that's 90 grams heavier than the titanium Sonder, but still lighter than the stainless steel full-size Sonder. And this actually is weighing heavier than this over here, even though they are of almost the same kind of, I guess, size and proportion. Yes, it is slightly bigger or wider, I should say, in terms of the overall design. You could see that there's more material out on the sides of the arms, and in terms of thickness, it is slightly thicker than the atrium itself. And this atrium is one that features the bearing retention method, as you can see, while the Sonder Slim is actually a press fit, or I should say a glue fit. retention method. So those are the differences in some of the specs of the Sonder Slim versus the Atrium. But the Sonder Slim actually weighs, I'm just going to estimate, but it weighs at about 100 grams. So 100 grams is about 10 grams heavier than the Atrium. And initially, in terms of fidgeting itself, I wasn't able to tell the difference between this and this, but it was only because I lent it to Tetris that Tetris mentioned that this feels a lot lighter and he enjoys this a lot more than this. For me, it really depends on what you like as a user. Like for me, I actually can't really tell the difference. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The only real difference that I feel is, yes, this feels a little bit lighter, and because of the way it's made and the buttons that come with it, it feels narrower, you know, like my fingers aren't so far apart as compared to this. But these buttons are of course taller or higher when compared to the Sonder Slim buttons, as you guys can see. But the Sonder Slim features newer buttons. I know I'm jumping around right now, guys, with all the different details, but I'll bring it all back towards the end of the video, okay? Don't worry, I promise. So my impressions on this, I really enjoy it. There's not much negatives I have to say about it because I was and I have been a fan of the Sonder design. Like, come on, if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't have these two versions. Yes, you guys, I bought these, okay? I bought this, and I also have the Hyperglow version that is just in the corner, but I'm just lazy to get it, but you guys know what I mean. And I actually have this one was sent to me by Jason, the one that I did not purchase, so thank you, Jason. And these are my thoughts. Basically, I'm not able to tell the difference. That is it in a nutshell. It feels good, it feels comfortable, but these buttons, although they look absolutely stunning, and by the way, you guys remember that I had a meteorite button. Yes, I do have it. It is also in my case right now because that's a case queen. It's on another spinner. But yes, this design is very beautiful. Although it is beautiful on this Sonder itself, it feels really, really narrow, and it's something that I don't particularly enjoy. I wish the buttons were a little bit taller because you could see the fat of my thumb just almost barely touching the frame, and that's because I'm not squeezing it hard. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, but once I do, see, that happens. So it's something that I wish I could avoid. So actually, one of the reasons why I took such a long time to get this review out or recorded is because I spent 1 week with the stock buttons, another week with these buttons from the original stainless steel Sonder, this full-size Sonder. So it resulted in taller buttons, and this honestly was a lot more comfortable. Yes, the buttons aren't as wide as the V2 buttons, but they are much taller, and because of that height, this dish over here feels a lot more deliberate. It feels a lot more obvious, and it's just more comfortable in hand. It feels a little bit more secure, you know, because I'm able to apply more pressure when I'm holding on to the Sonder, because, you know, it's not a light spinner. I want to make sure that I can grip it well, and at the same time I can do that without the fear of my thumb or the fat of my thumb actually touching the sides. But the main downside is that because these buttons are taller, the spinner does feel like it's wobbling a bit more because it's further away from the spinner core. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, it makes sense to me. But apart from that, initially when I thought, oh okay, Jason's making a slim Sonder, I think it might lose some of that hefty, chunky feel. So I actually took this back on my EDC for a little while just because of the weight. And because I wanted to see if there would be any bias between this, and this. So this being the titanium version is really, really light, very, very fidgetable, doesn't spin as long, definitely very easy to fidget with, and I soon got used to the size again. Like, what I mean is because of this and this, I got used to the size again, and then I transited myself back into this spinner over here, and I felt, okay, there isn't much of a difference, honestly. I thought that it would be a lot more obvious after handling the full-sized Sonder, then handling the slim Sonder. I thought it was going to be like a world of a difference. It's not. So that is something that initially I thought was going to be a negative point, but actually isn't, because I'm actually able to have the same feel that I had with the full-size Sonder, just that it is lighter, and lighter means that it is a little bit more fidgetable. Now don't get me wrong, this is really fidgetable, it's just that it's really, really heavy. So this is for someone who is really looking for long spins. This is the kind of spinner that you're gonna just perform preloaded flicks and just let it spin in your hand for a long time, and you would get really, really tired if you start fidgeting with this a lot, like if you do jib jabs and stuff. But on the flip side, if you get the titanium version, jib jabs and everything is gonna be just super perfect because it's so light and it's so fidgetable. You could just mess around with it without your fingers feeling too fatigued over a long period of time. And this is very close, I would say somewhere in the middle of both worlds. Not that fidgetable, so it's more like a 3/4 mark between these two. So if this and this were here, it wouldn't be right smack in the middle, it'll be closer to kind of like that, where it's more fidgetable but yet has the heft. And because of that heft, this guy, and I know I didn't film this, but this guy is not failing in terms of spin times as well. It's getting me 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes on a two-handed table spin, when this was initially getting me about 6 to 8 minute spins, depending on the bearing and depending on how hard, I guess, I kind of spun it on a two-handed table spin. But this is easily getting me 5 to 6 minute spins. It's one of those that I can still do this and just let it spin in my hand and enjoy the resonance, but also I'm able to fidget with this and I wouldn't feel too fatigued after a long time. So this is actually something that I really enjoy. Now the last week, what I did was I actually took the V2 cupola buttons from Unquiet Hands and I put them onto this bad boy. And in all honesty, I kind of like the look. See, it looks kind of plain and it just matches because, you know, of the design. I mean, versus this, I still like this a lot more because there's so much more detail in this. Look at that, guys. Look at how beautifully the buttons are made. And a triangle bezel in there, an angled edge, as well as a flat and then a thick outer lip like that. And the angled edges out here. The only downside is that these buttons are not dedicated male and female buttons, and it's a negative point for me. Going back to this guy, cupola buttons are very slightly taller than the V2 Sonder buttons, so there's a plus point for the Unquiet Hands buttons, and it does improve the overall experience of this spinner in my hand because, like I said, the same thing, I feel a lot more comfortable gripping this. I feel more secure, you know what I mean, like in terms of whether or not my finger's gonna touch the frame of the spinner at all. This feels just a lot more secure and I feel more comfortable with slightly taller buttons. So yeah, I mean, I gotta admit that I did not try out a lot of other buttons, but I thought that these would suffice because these two, at least being Sonder buttons made by, of course, Vinon Labs, and then I just had this one on the side, and since I was comparing it to an Atrium, I thought it would be a good idea to put the buttons that came from Unquiet Hands onto this spinner and try it out. So that is what I think. So all in all, guys, I'm gonna bring everything back. This, in a nutshell, very well made, very ergonomic spinner. Exactly something that Vinon Labs was setting out to do, provide a very ergonomic spinner. Good spin times, very hefty, 113 grams. This one is basically the same as this, just a super light version because it is in titanium, it is made of titanium. This one weighing in at about 65 grams makes for super fidgetability, not so much on long spin times, and has the same very comfortable, very good ergonomics that the Sonder boasts. And this is in between. I would say that this is about 100 grams, slightly narrower in terms of form factor, but still very comfortable, still offers the same great ergonomics that the full-size Sonder offers, and still very good spin times. Slightly more fidgetable than this, but gets way longer spin times than this. So if you guys are in the market to get yourselves a Sonder and you've missed other Sonders, well, consider this one. I believe that it is going up on the Vinon Labs site very soon. Maybe not as of now that I'm recording, but very soon. And it's going to be offered until the end of December, that is 31st. These apparently are going to be made per order. I don't really understand what Jason meant when he told me that, but I'm going to assume that this is not going to be some kind of like a pre-order thing where you have to fulfill a certain number and then you have to wait for that pre-order window to close and then wait for manufacturing, and then once it's done, production, QC will be done and then sent out to you guys. I think that this will be made per order as an order comes in all the way till the 31st of December, and then this design might be retired. I'm not so sure, and I don't even know what kind of finishes this is going to be offered in. Probably standard materials are going to be offered in this. I think it's aluminum, maybe brass, maybe copper, but definitely stainless steel as well, maybe even zirconium, because there was a zirconium option for the Slim Sonder. I remember that very well. You could also get zirconium or meteorite Sonder V2 buttons, and I think that pre-order window is already long gone. I'm sorry guys, I managed to jump on the meteorite ones and I don't regret that at all. But yes, I mean guys, I'll put links in the description box down below so that you guys can go visit the Vinon Labs website as well as Facebook page to stay up to date with the latest news and any kind of upcoming projects that Vinon Labs will have in the future. But this is something that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to get a retail version because this prototype is great. It is great, but it is a prototype. It has been well used, and I think that I'm gonna have to send this back to Jason. I'm not so sure, but you could see that it's been well used. It's got quite a lot of scratches here and there. It's got a lot of dings and nicks, and I want one in pristine condition so that I could put in my collection because I really like the Sonders. I really like them a lot. This one, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Josh over at Spinnetics because I sent this titanium version over to him and he actually did the anodization for me. He got a very beautiful blurple. You guys can see that, but now it's been scratched up, so I'm thinking of putting this into the stone washing rig so I could get a interesting speckle kind of pattern. I don't know how this will turn out, like in these, I guess these are facets here. I'm gonna call them facets. Yeah, I mean, if I don't try, I'll never know. I think I might do that. Pricing on this, guys, I don't know. I apologize. I don't know the pricing on this, but definitely coming from Vinon Labs is gonna be affordable, and you know machining is gonna be top notch because just by looking at this, machining always on point. coming from Vinon Labs. And that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing in the slice of my life. This is kind of like supposed to be a feedback video to Jason, but then again, you know, I wasn't able to find much negative points about that, except for with the buttons. I wish the buttons were a little bit taller. I wish that they were dedicated male and female buttons, because in the past, look at that, the old Sonder buttons were dedicated male and female. But I could be wrong, because these might be prototype buttons, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure he'll announce once this video goes out, so let's stay tuned for that. All in all, I really enjoyed my experience with the Sonder Slim, and I'm gonna pop the V2 buttons back on just so I could show you guys what it looks like in all its full original glory. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful combination. The straight lines of the triangle, that beautiful circular design with all of this rounding and curved ergonomics here is just, this is just beautiful. This is just beautiful. The geometry in this is nice and it goes so well. You could also see the size of the hexagon there peeking out at the 3 edges here. That is so nice, so very nice. Vinon Labs did a good job on this one. Something a bit more pocketable, something a bit lighter, slightly lighter, but still retaining that very trademark ergonomics of the Sonder. So I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Sonder Slim is a spinner for you. I like it. It gets 2 thumbs up from me, and I'm waiting for Jason to release the sales page so that I could get my order in for one of these as well. And I'll catch all of you in the next video, everyone. Till then, be safe, stay happy. The Christmas season is coming very soon. Gaga Boost.